Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, as you know that we have started a new series on business organization and management. Under the series we have conducted one session. This is the second lecture in the series and today we will be talking on business system and its environment. And for this very discussion on the topic, we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Asha Kiran Gupta. Dr. Asha Kiran Gupta is Associate Professor in Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, that is Morning College, University of Delhi. Dr. Gupta has almost 21 years of teaching experience and she has been continuously teaching with the idea and with the potential to give maximum of knowledge to the students. So dear friends, let's welcome our guest Dr. Asha Kiran Gupta. Dr. Gupta, welcome to the EduSet lecture.
Thank you. Yes, today's topic is business system and its environment. The objective behind this topic is that so that the student will be able to understand the meaning of business system, the meaning of business subsystem, to understand the interaction between system of business system, and then to understand business system as a part of economic system, to understand the meaning of business environment, and to understand the elements of business environment. Now, first of all, we will understand what do we mean by business system. As everybody knows that our society is a system and it consists of economic, social, political and other various subsystems. Systems refers to a set of interrelated functional areas forming a complex whole. Second, a business is an important system whose objective is to earn profits through the satisfaction of human wants by producing and distributing goods and services to the consumers. It gets inputs like raw material, machinery, labor, money, etc. from its environment and supplies its output to the society as a whole. Then third is the business system operates under the influence of economic, legal, social and cultural environment, which is the part of the business environment. According to famous author Wheeler, business system is a combination of all resources, organization and institutions which are directly or indirectly related to the production of goods and services for the satisfaction of human wants and needs. Now, features of business system. First is goal oriented. Business system is directed towards the achievement of specific objectives. It supplies goods and services to the consumers and earn profits for the survival and growth. Second feature is creative. Business system is creative. Creative in the sense that it converts resources into useful products. It means the results of the systems are more than the sum of parts, which is also called synergy effect. Third feature is that it is complex. It means business system is a complex system. It has a well-defined structure. Each subsystem of business is itself a system having its own subsystem. Fourth feature is interdependence. As I told you that if business has various parts, so all these parts, they do not work in isolation, rather they are interrelated with each other. If there is any change in any part of the subsystem, it means that it will definitely affect the other parts operating in that business. So, in that way, we can say that change will lead in one department or in one subsystem leads to change in other subsystem. This shows that they are highly interrelated and interdependent upon each other. Next feature is dynamic business system. As I told you, business system is an open system. Yes, what do you mean by open system? Open system is that system which influence and get influenced by its environment continuously. It means if there is any change in any part of the business, that will definitely affect its environment, and if is there any change in the environment, it will definitely affect the business. Next feature is diverse. Business system is diverse in design and operations. The range of output, size, ownership, location, organization and management etc. of a business firm is diverse. Next is socio-economic system. Business environment consists of all those economic, social, political, technological and other forces which influence the functioning of business. There is constant interaction between business system and its environment. Next feature is control mechanism. Business system works through a control mechanism. The nature and scope of control mechanism varies from business to business. It helps to coordinate the activities of the organization and respond to the environmental opportunities and constraints. Thus, one can say that the business enterprise is an open, adaptive, goal-oriented system with its environment and acting as a suprasystem. Now, we will discuss about the elements of business system, or you may say subsystem of business system. The structure of the business system has two parts. As I told you in the previous class also, the business has two parts. One is industry and other is commerce. As I told you, each industry consists of many firms producing similar type of goods and services. As you know, commerce is that part of the business which deals with the or which is concerned with the distribution of goods and services produced by the industry. Commerce is also consists of many firms which are engaged in the exchange of goods and services. Business firm is considered as the heart of business system because other components of business system revolve around it. However, every business firm in itself a system consisting of several subsystems. As I told you, business system again is a combination of various subsystems. So these subsystems are 1. Production system, B. Marketing system, C. Finance system, D. Personnel system. Last but not least is the research and development system. You may also call as they are the operating areas of the business without which the business cannot work properly. However, as I told you, business has these 5 subsystems, but again these 5 subsystems have more subsystems. For example, production system consists of many subsystems, that is purchase and control system, quality control, production, planning and control, plant location and layout, plant building and equipment, etc. Similarly, other subsystems have many subsystems. However, all these subsystems and subsystems, they are interrelated to each other and they form a bigger system which they are individually part of that bigger system. Now, as I have made clear about this, what do you mean by business system? What are the subsystems? Whether the subsystems have subsystems or not? Now we will discuss about what is the interaction between subsystems of business systems. Business system is interrelated with its subsystems, and again subsystems are interrelated with each other with their subsystems as well as intersystems also. All the subsystems must be properly integrated for achieving business objectives. What is the business objective? The objective of the business is to earn profits. If all these subsystems and subsystems, if they will work properly, they will work with an integrated manner, only then the business can achieve profits. Otherwise, it is very difficult for the business to earn profits if all these subsystems and subsystems they work independently. So, in this way, they provide synergy effect. Now, each part influences and is influenced by the other subsystems. For example, the quality of raw materials purchased by the purchase department influences the quality of goods manufactured by the production department. Moreover, the purchase department will purchase raw material as per the need of the department which is given by the production department. Moreover, the marketing department will sell whatever is produced by the production department. In turn, marketing department influences the production department by providing information about the taste and desires of the consumers. Production and marketing departments influence the decision of finance department. The funds raised by the finance department in turn influence the production and sales levels. Thus, system concept emphasizes the totality of the set of interrelated parts. Thus, in short, we analyze business enterprise as system, its functional areas such as production, marketing, finance, and human resources would be called subsystem. Accordingly, these subsystems, they are interrelated and interdependent, as activity in one area cannot be performed without analyzing their effect on those in other areas. The moment any disturbance occurs in any of the subsystems, it will definitely affect the other subsystems. Therefore, proper action must be taken in response to the changes so that the system attains a normal functioning. Now, as I told you, business doesn't work in vacuum. It works in an economy. So, one may conclude that business system is a part of economic system, which is the suprasystem. Before understanding the meaning, how business system as a part of economic system, one must be clear about what do you mean by economic system. Economic system refers to a system which provides people with means of livelihood. It means it is concerned with the effective utilization of natural economic resources for satisfaction of human wants. Now, by understanding the meaning of economic system, we can say that business is a part of economic system. How? As it is effectively utilizing or converting the natural economic resources for the satisfaction of human wants by providing them goods and services according to their taste and preferences. However, the economic system of any country can be a capital system, socialistic system, or mixed economy. And the decision regarding what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce are taken by the economic system. But the actual production of goods and services is carried out by the business system only. Now, one may say that the business system operates within the limits defined by the economic system. The economic system defines the property rights, role of government planning, market mechanism, consumption pattern, freedom of choice, etc., and provides a framework for business system to operate it. As you know, in capitalist economy, business is owned by private individuals who produce and distribute only those goods which are only profitable. Only profitable means which will yield them maximum profit. The market forces for demand and supply determine the prices of the product, and the role of the government is minimum. Thus, in capitalist economy, the regulatory force of price mechanism influence the working of business system. In socialist economy, business activity is centralized in the hands of the government. It means all the decisions are taken by the central planning authority. In such business system, in a socialist economy is less dynamic and complex than the capitalist economy. Whereas in mixed economy like India, where both private and government sector run parallel to each other and business activities are allocated to both these sectors. The private sector is governed by profit motive, whereas the other sector is governed by social welfare. The private sector is free to carry out desired economic activities, but in the regulatory framework established by the government. It means while in India, when private organizations are doing business, they can't do business according to their own wishes. Rather, they have to follow certain rules and regulations which are framed by the government. And if they do not follow those rules and regulations, in that case, the penalty may be imposed on them. Hence, at last, one can say that business system cannot be studied in isolation, but it can be studied only with the reference to the economic system in which it functions. Now the question arises, what are the similarities and differences between economic system and business system? Till now, you were saying that, or you must have understood that business system as a part of economic system. It means if we see only this thing, then we can say there is no difference between these two. But still there are certain differences. First of all, I will discuss the similarities between economic system and business system. As you know, both of them exist to satisfy human needs and wants. Second, both the systems are concerned with economic aspect of human life. And the last is, both the systems are part of the social system established by human beings. So these were the few similarities. Now what are the differences between economic system and business system? An economic system is much wider than a business system, and business is its part. Second is, a business system merely undertakes production and distribution of goods and services, whereas on the other hand, an economic system serves the society by utilizing the nation's resources. Therefore, and the last is, one can say, business system operates within the limits of economic system. Therefore, one can say that despite of so much of differences between economic system and business system, still one can say that business system is a part of economic system and it cannot run without the help of business system. Now, as I told you, the topic is business system and its environment. We will discuss about what do you mean by business environment. Every business, whether it is a private, it is a government, or it is a semi-government, or it is a public sector, every type of business faces two types of environment. One is internal environment and other is external environment. The internal environment is controllable by the management, whereas the external environment is not at all controlled by the organization. The parts of the internal environment are the various departments working in that organization, employees of that concern, various plans and policies of that organization, etc. So, if there is any disturbance in the internal environment of the business, in that case, business can take corrective actions to remove those hindrances. Whereas the external environment, which is beyond the control of the management, it cannot control that environment and it will directly influence or get influenced by the business. So, now we will study business environment means the environment of the business in which business survive. Generally, every type of business faces two types of environment. As I told you earlier, internal environment and external environment. And here we are focusing only on the external environment. Such external environment consists of various other companies, markets and economies. This environment ultimately governs changes in the demand and supply of goods and services. Thus, in brief, one can say that environment usually covers first social environment, specifying the people, their attitudes and their behavior. Second is economic environment, describing changes in competition, changes in demand, changes in lifestyle, changes in consumer attitudes and behavior. Third is political environment, deals with regulation and legislation on business operation. Last environment is technological environment, which reflects the development of science and technology and technological innovation. Therefore, in brief, we can say that the elements of business environment, or that is the external environment, is first economic environment, second political environment, third social environment, fourth cultural environment, and last is international environment. Thank you. Elements of business environment, as I told you earlier also, there are five types of environment which a business faces. These are the external environment which is beyond the control of the business, and our focus here is only on these external environment. First is economic environment, political environment, social environment, cultural environment, and international environment. Now, we will discuss all these environment in detail. First is economic environment. What do you mean by economic environment? As everybody knows that economic environment includes all those actions which make the economic activities possible in the country. The following factors constitute the economic environment, which are as follows. First is availability of economic resources, economic conditions. Second, third is C, economic policies, D, labor policies, E, trade policy, F, tariff policy, G, incentives, H, subsidies. Now we will discuss all these factors in brief. First is availability of economic resources. Economic resources are those resources which are essential for the production of goods and services. Natural and physical resources are the part of economic resources. Therefore, adequate amount of these resources should be available for the production of adequate amount of goods and services. Besides availability of these resources, their effective utilization is also necessary. B, economic conditions. Economic conditions govern the enterprise ability to remain viable. Following factors constitute economic conditions such as inflation, interest rates, unemployment, per capita income, etc. By studying these factors, one can judge the economic conditions of the country. Next is economic policies. Economic policies determine the direction and volume of business. For example, in socialist economy, decisions regarding what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce are taken by the government through Central Planning Commission. It means how the government will work. The government will work according to the Central Planning Commission. So the Central Planning Commission governs the business houses what to produce, how to produce, and for whom to produce. Therefore, the government is responsible for formulating these economic policies to regulate the level of production and consumption. Whereas in free economy, it is market forces to decide all these things, but not within the government regulatory role, whereas within the market operations. It means the government regulatory role is negligible in case of free economy. Next is labor policies. Labor is an important and active factor of production. Volume of production and cost are governed by the productivity of labor. Therefore, the government should formulate that type of policy which will ensure timely payment of sufficient wages, strengthen the social security system, and improve labor productivity. Current labor environment also enable the entrepreneurs to take necessary decisions. Next, economic environment, the factor of economic environment is trade policies. The major objectives of trade policy are to ensure sufficient supply of goods and services in the country and controlling the adverse balance of payment. Export and import substitution measures also encourage entrepreneurs to opt for more expansions. Next is tariff policy. Effective tariff policy provides a base for entrepreneurs to undertake a task, more entrepreneur activities. High tariff rates affect demand level as well as the margin available to the entrepreneurs. Determination of tariff structure is to be made to avoid unnecessary reduction in consumers' purchasing power. Next economic environment, factor of economic environment is incentives. Incentives are necessary to encourage entrepreneur activities in the country. It ensures a high margin at low risk. interest-free loan, exemptions from wealth tax, tax holiday, supply of raw material at concessional rates, etc., are some of the important incentives which help to create conducive environment for the entrepreneurship. Next and last economic factor is subsidies. Under this scheme, government creates a favorable environment by providing subsidies for giving economic assistance to the entrepreneurs. There are certain activities which are not profitable and entrepreneurs do not want to undertake such activities. So, how these activities will take place? In that case, the government should provide financial assistance to carry those projects. Only then the business also will produce those products. Second, after completing economic environment, second environment is political environment. Political environment includes the elements relating to government affairs. Political environment is concerned with general stability of the country in which an enterprise is expected to work. Political forces guide the organization to do or not to do certain activities. However, there is a close relationship between the success of the business and the political environment. If the political environment is stable, then business can grow. And if the political environment is not stable, it means lots of disturbances are there, like change of the government, like terrorism, like fights among the groups. In that case, the business will face problem of survival. After completing political environment, third is social environment. Social environment prepares background for entrepreneurial activities. Today, business is considered as a social institution. It forms an integral part of social organization. Social structure, social values and conventions, consumerism, labor attitudes, etc., constitutes social environment. Since entrepreneur is a part of society, so he is governed by the social values and conventions. An effective but favorable social environment is necessary for entrepreneurship. Now, what are the factors which will form or guide the social environment? As you can see, there are general 4 factors which will guide the social environment. These factors are: number 1, social structure; second, social values and conventions; third is consumers' opinion; and last is labor motives. Now I am going to discuss these factors in brief. First is social structure. What do you mean by social structure? As you know, there is a functional division of community which determines the level of entrepreneurial activities. In India, Varna's arrangement is guided by functional division of duties like Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishya and Shudra. In practice, Varna distribution affects the form of entrepreneurial behavior. But in recent years, there is a drastic change in the social behavior. Improvement in the level of education, government incentives and subsidies, etc., have motivated other varnas of the society to undertake entrepreneurial activities effectively. Second is social values and conventions. The values are the beliefs that shape individual and group attitudes. Values and attitudes mold people behavior and influences the needs and wants. Generally, individuals try their level best to protect their social value and conventions. Production of public goods, avoidance of unethical behavior, and fulfillment of social obligations are treated as the part of social behavior, and entrepreneurs cannot avoid in their entrepreneur behavior. Third is consumer's opinion. Consumer's opinion with regard to consumption of goods and services also affect the form of entrepreneur activities. Economic conditions of the consumers like taste, habit, fashion, etc. regulate the volume and form of production. A product having more demand due to change in fashion, taste, habit, etc. motivates the entrepreneurs to undertake production of that product only. It means we can say that the business houses also mold their production according to the taste and preferences of the consumers. Next is labor motives. Labor mentality towards the production process also plays an important role in shaping the form of social environment. Generally, there is conflict of interest between employer and employee. Employer considers employee is the lazy person and they should not be given salary or wages high because they do not put their full potential, while employee thinks that employer is exploiting him and not paying him wages accordingly. If this type of notion occurs, in that case it will be very difficult for the business houses to produce goods and services according to the demand of the consumers, and if this kind of notion is removed, only then they can provide good social environment. Next is, after completing this social environment, next is cultural environment. General perception about entrepreneurship development is that it is based on cultural and ethical values. People generally believe that success or failure of an individual or an enterprise is totally governed by the mercy and pleasure of God. It means people believe that if in their fate success is there, definitely they will get the success. If in their fate the failure is there, despite of many efforts, they will not get success, rather they will occur only failure. It also believed that status is inherited and it is not earned. It is also considered that certain occupations are meant for particular caste only. All this result in considerable immobility and inflexibility and lead to wastage of labor. Thus, cultural structure and the cultural aspirations are the important part of entrepreneur environment. Next is cultural structure. The supply of entrepreneurs is determined by the cultural structure. Demographic characteristics also describe the population and its behavior in region where an enterprise is located. Family background, level of education, economic conditions of the family, etc. also affect the supply of entrepreneurs. Next is cultural aspirations. Regulation of entrepreneur trend is also possible through cultural aspirations. If social constraints are being removed, it means there is no restriction on the entry or exit for any caste to join or disjoin the business field. So, last environment is the international environment. International business environment deals with the forces which prevail outside India or home country in which an enterprise is working. These forces are like multinationals, exchange rates, level of competitions from foreign market, position of international capital market, etc. All these factors, they influence interaction with people and enterprise. In recent years, globalization has brought important development affecting the working of business enterprise. As a part of external environment, entrepreneurs are being challenged by an increasing number of global competitors in the consumers market. The international environment includes various factors such as first is development of multinationals, second is globalization, third is WTO, fourth is international capital market. Now we will discuss all these factors in brief. First is development of multinationals. Now international business has created favorable conditions for development of MNCs in the home countries. The MNCs have a direct investment abroad and direct interest in the business environment in which they have such investment. Flexibility in direct foreign investment on the part of government discourages domestic entrepreneurs to establish new enterprises in the home country. MNCs generally have good product image, update technology, quality control and effective marketing strategy, and it has a difficult task before the entrepreneurs to compete with them. Second is globalization. Now what do we mean by globalization? Globalization is the process by which business or other organization start their operations on an international scale. It means after globalization, organizations not only doing business within the home country, but they are also doing business abroad. It means now besides domestic competitors, now these companies, they have to face competition for consumer market in the international environment. The globalization throws both opportunities and challenges to the Indian entrepreneurs. Now, the business has been forced to reduce costs, improve the quality of their products, and hence can survive in this world. Next is WTO. WTO means World Trade Organization. It is the only global international organization dealing with the rules of trade between nations. Such organization frames WTO agreements which are negotiated and signed by the bulks of world's trading nations and ratified in their parliament. What do you mean by ratified means? Subsequently they are adopted by those countries which are the part of WTO in their parliament. Thus, through this manner, it regulates international trade. Such organization has put emphasis on removal of trade restrictions and tariffs as a result. Now, the entrepreneurs have to face unexpected challenges and efforts which are made to improve their competitive strength. Now, the impact of environment on business and vice versa. It means the environment is also influencing the business and business is also influencing its environment. The impact of different elements of environment on business and vice versa are as follows. First is economic market. As you know that business organization receives many things from its economic environment and supplies goods and services to it. Economic environment exercises most significant influence on business because business itself is an economic institution. If there is any change in the economic environment, it will definitely affect business, and similarly, it will surely affect our economic environment in return. For example, if there is reduction in rate of interest, then what will happen? It will reduce the cost of capital for the business firm in India. This will encourage more investment in business operations. As a result, more business will be established and more people will be inclined to start business and generate more employment. When more employment opportunities are generated, in that case, more number of people are employed. As a result, the more number of people, their economic welfare will also increase, which will lead to the economic welfare to the society and hence making the sound economic environment. Next is socio-cultural environment. The attitude, desires, expectations, degree of intelligence and education etc. make social and cultural environment. These factors exercise significant influence on business. For example, social consciousness among public requires more responsible behavior on the part of business towards consumer service and labor welfare. In return, the business will get more educated and sophisticated workforce from its environment. If the business will get more educated and sophisticated people, then the product, whatever will be produced, they will be highly sophisticated and produced with the help of latest technology, which can also give the high quality product. When such type of products they are supplied to the economy, they are supplied to the society, then the people will use those high tech products. When the people will use those high tech products, in that case they will be more satisfied and hence be inclined to purchase the products. So in that way we can say that the people, when they are get aware of these latest technology, they will equip themselves, and those people who are not equipped with such type of knowledge, they will get themselves educated to use such type of products. As a result, the overall society will get improvement. So in that way we can say that the business is affecting the socio-cultural environment, and the society or the people, they are affecting the business by encouraging them to produce more highly sophisticated products. Next is political and legal environment. The political and legal environment, as I told you, consists of various laws, regulation and government agencies and their actions which affect all kinds of organization but at varying degree. Varying degree means on some organization more stringent, more rigorous rules and regulations are imposed, whereas in some organizations the rules and regulations are not so stringent. So the performance of business firm depends upon its ability to meet challenges arising out of political and legal changes. If there is change in the rules and regulations, then the business houses will adopt those rules and regulations and produce goods accordingly. When they will produce goods accordingly, in that case they are getting affected by our political environment, and hence the political environment is affecting our business. Next is technological, physical and natural environment. How this technological, physical and natural environment affects the business, and business is affecting such type of environment. As you know, there is a definite direct influence and impact on the functioning of the business organization. For example, if there is great changes or technology, there is great changes in the technology, or we can say that our technological environment is highly dynamic and frequent changes, frequent technology is taking place, it means a new technology is coming quickly. In that case, the business houses will produce only those goods which are immediately have impact on according to that technology. It means they will produce only those goods which will definitely use such type of technology and can adapt themselves accordingly. If the business does not respond according to the latest technology, in that case, whatever is produced by them without using the latest technology will become obsolete, and the consumers, they will not prefer those goods. Therefore, according to changes in technology, the business must adapt itself and must produce the goods by using the modern technology. Second is physical and natural environment. If the physical and natural environment is not favorable according to the business operations, in that case, it is very difficult for the business houses to produce the goods in adverse conditions. So, according to the nature, according to the physical environment, the business houses must produce goods. For example, in case if there is tropical area, in that case only those type of goods should be produced which are suitable only is that type of tropical area. Therefore, such type of environment must be used or adapted by the business itself so that it can produce goods by adopting such type of environment. So, at last but not least, one can say that all these environment which I told you earlier, that is political environment, social environment, legal environment, economic environment and international environment, they affect the business system and the business system itself affects these environment. All these two things, business system and its environment, they are interrelated and interdependent upon each other, and nowadays business system has become the open system so that the MNCs and other organizations, they because of globalization, they can enter into the domestic country and hence the competitors have to face a lot of competition not within the country but from outside competitors also. Therefore, we can say that business system is an open adaptive system and it works under the subsystem, it acts as a subsystem and as a part of economic system. Therefore, now all of you must have understood what is business system, what are its subsystem, whether the business system has subsystems or not, it is a part of economic system, and the last is that it has its environment, and which means both are interrelated and interdependent upon each other. Thank you.
With this note, thank you ma'am, thank you so very much for giving us a very productive session. Dear friends, if you want to give your feedback in form of your queries or your suggestions, or if you want to have a lecture on particular topic, then definitely you can mail us at info.cc@nic.in, and we would like to tell you all that all the lectures concerning to this series on business organization and management are there on YouTube. This lecture is also going to upload on YouTube very soon. So we would be meeting again and would be talking on another topic. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much.